Alright, well, I hope that the voice volume is alright. Trying a combination of music that keeps me entertained and having the mic on, which keeps you entertained. So let's see how it works out. I think we're going to I think that we're going to actually launch our ship today. Well, one of the two. As you notice, see all these guys here? Well, they're all on Laythe. That's all the crew on Laythe. Okay, so let's see where we're at. So there's the mobility package, the SAISS Vex, the Singularity Aerospace Innovations spaceship Vex. Of course, this is the mobility package. So you have our jet on the back here, and on the front you can see our 5-man land shark, and then we have our single pilot jet sandwiched in between these rockets here that can be used to steer it into the atmosphere. I'm not sure exactly how I want to have all this stuff enter. I've since actually redesigned this upper stage, because this was actually as a prototype that made it up here, and I spent so much time screwing around trying to get it up here that once I finally did, I said, you know, I really don't want to screw around with that at all. So we'll save our game. So it's going to pick the periapsis point. It's our closest, so we'll be going the fastest. Just make sure we're controlling the vessel from the right place. Now you see that the estimated burn down here for that, and I mean, I set that node. You notice I didn't even really look to see where it was going, because I'm not really interested in trying to do this on this revolution. This is that's not the way to get a big ship out of orbit, unfortunately, because it'd be a hell of a lot easier than the way that, you know, I'm going to do it here. So you'll see that I'm 1 minute out. We'll look at how I set that. Right. I just dragged it out till I seen that it was breaking orbit. So I know that I already know I need around 1,000 delta V in order to get myself out. Now you'll notice that the estimated burn here is nothing, because this thing, quite honestly. Oh yeah, we're gonna shut those off. Yeah, I should probably spend a few moments preparing our aircraft. Or our spacecraft, I should say. Okay, it looks like we're all set up. Full. That's full. Oh, I can steal fuel out of that if I need. That's the only reason I kept it, because this was pretty much useless. These engines, I don't even know why I bothered using it. Those engines are garbage. So what I'm actually going to do here is that once I'm at about T-minus 1 minute from my node, which is set here on the periapsis, which you see wiggling around here. Well, I don't know why exactly. New updates. Okay, so 6, 5. And then I'm going to throttle up. That's the first time I've flown this. I have no idea if it's balanced, if it's going to move around everywhere. Now you'll see that now the estimated burn clock actually kicks in now and gives me values, even though they're bouncing around right here. I really don't care what they are, because all I'm going to do right now is go, you know, well, a little more than half thrust, and burn prograde for about 2 minutes. So start at T minus 1 minute to T minus 0, then T plus 1 minute, and then you stop your burn. So that way, what you're doing is that to raise your orbit over here, you want to do your burn on this side. So you can see now that this is rapidly rising. My apoapsis is rising. It's already my highest point, so why not use it? But you know, now that I think about it, it's actually, yeah, I could have picked a better point. Because if you notice, this is throwing me more towards the sun, whereas I should be throwing myself out this way. Like there's, you know, Dres is out there. That really matters for the distances that we're going to be traveling here. But the idea is to maximize the efficiency of every drop of fuel that you use. So I mean, if I start my burn over here, sure, it's going to start affecting my apoapsis, but those numbers won't be rolling up like they are right now. If I start here, again, yes, it's going to start moving my apoapsis out, but again, it's going to be moving it out more here than it is here. And I want all my fuel to push this point out. I don't care about any of these other points. I want to push my apoapsis out as far as I possibly can, as efficiently as I can. So you'll see now that we're T plus 15 seconds. So less than a minute here, and we'll be shutting our engines off. Now, I mean, I don't know. I'm not an expert. I'm not a whatever. That's just what I've kind of figured out as being a good, efficient way. I mean, I have a monstrous amount of patience when it comes to this stuff. I could sit here. I've literally sat here and watched my ship just fly for an hour on my last Laythe mission, which is why I chose to cut the weight down a lot for this one. Almost ready to shut the engines down. And that's the thing that you're going to find, you know, that's the trade-off with the nuclear engines, right? You get this crazy amount of specific impulse with, you know, about as much thrust as you get out of a desk fan. You know, it's the same thing with the ion engine. Oop. A couple seconds passed. So that's it. You know, I'm just refamiliarizing myself with the tanks and stuff, just to, because usually I just fly this stage, but now of course I got an extra RCS tank and a whole extra fuel tank, and I mean, really, if it comes down to it, I'll steal fuel out of here if I got to, but I really don't think that's going to be necessary for this. I mean, altogether, It is a 239.05 ton spacecraft. And that's a pretty good part count. I mean, 494 parts. And I mean, I got a interplanetary stage that should be more than capable of taking me to Laythe and getting me in orbit, even with all my dummy rookie mistakes. A 5-man land vehicle, so a cockpit with a hitchhiker module. As you can see there, turn the lights off so we wash everything out. So we got the land shark here with the hitchhiker module, room for 4, plus a pilot, and there's actually already a pilot in there. I think it's is it Hending or San Ming? Is that San Ming? Yeah. So it's the so this little dude's been sitting in here for quite a while, actually. But that's an interesting view, because he's kind of stuck off at the edge here. He's looking down on his home planet, and I'll bet the interplanetary ship. So he's gonna have an interesting view the whole way out. And of course we have another gentleman, Hending, in here. These folks were on the space station that I had up here, and when I was building these ships, I decided to steal the fuel out of them with one of my fuel tanker ships. Flew it over and drained all the fuel out of the space station, because it was the space station was a very early build I had done. My first docking attempts and maneuvers, and then so from there I used one of the Kerbals to actually fly the space station into the atmosphere to break it up. He didn't sacrifice himself, however. There was an escape module that he used to come safely back to the surface, whereas his 2 companions became parts of the Laythe mission, and the fuel tanker that stole the fuel out of the space station actually plucked this thing off of the space station as well, because I had this up in orbit for a different mission, but I ended up scrapping that mission in favor for the Laythe mission, and so I stole this for the land shark for this mission, and hence these 2 guys became reassigned. Of course, there is a 3-man pod here, which is the standard 3-man crew for any interplanetary stage, or for all my interplanetary ships. San Ming looks really worried right now. So the view from inside is actually not too bad.
2 tabs on your tongue.
Here you're actually looking. What you're looking at there is the back of the. Oh look! I control lights from inside. So that's the back of the hitchhiker module on the land shark. If you look out this window, you can see the moon and an antenna up here. And over here you can see Kerbin. So this is actually aboard the cockpit of the Laythe plane. I used the little single-man lander because of the weight, not realizing that the window stinks, because I really don't use it for anything else, and I was really concerned about weight when I was building that thing, so there was that. So, let us... Oops. There we go. So our overall crew manifest here, we got Burley, San Ming, Bobbler, was it Weerfurt, Lembro, and Hinding is probably the most comfortable out of them all. He's not really in charge of anything. He's just kind of monitoring the scientific instruments aboard the hitchhiker module. Alright, so all I'm going to do here is cancel this, set another one. Again, drag it off until we get an escape velocity. Oh, look at that. Intercept with the moon. Ooh, let's see if we can do a gravity. Nah, we won't be able to, because that will require, look, a 16-minute burn, and I'm not into burns that long. You really don't want to be burning for any more than 4 minutes. If at the point where I have my orbit, you know, all the way out here, that I can burn for 2 minutes and get a intersection with the moon that actually throws me out and saves me a couple of hundred delta V on this, you know, because right now, I mean, you can keep track of the math if you want. It's not really a big deal, but let's see. 867.4 meters a second more delta V. So, I mean, I might be able to shave that off by, I don't know, 100 or 200 by using the moon, maybe more. I really don't pay attention to it because it's to the exact numbers, because I'm of the mind that, you know, if it's more efficient, then I'll try it if I can. And if it works, great. It really doesn't matter how much fuel it saved me, because it's going to have to be enough one way or the other. And if you know, if it didn't work, well then it doesn't matter, because you failed anyway. So by setting that waypoint, of course, you know, I could do it by eye, just checking the map, but I find it much easier to do it this way. So we'll just travel around, and this is going to be the majority of this is going to be, you know, kicking off this, trying to kick this orbit off here. So I just want to make note of the apoapsis is 166. So we'll see how much of a change we actually get with with pushing this orbit up. And you know, the great thing about doing it this way, taking effect, what they call this is, I believe, is the Oberth effect, or I believe is how you pronounce it. Because what we're doing in effect is using the gravity of Kerbin. Because I mean, when I'm this close, when I'm only 73,000 meters off of the surface, you're actually looking at, like, well, I mean, you see my speed. I'm moving at 2,356 meters a second in my orbit, and it's only going to increase right up until I hit here. So I mean, right now your potential to get to other places is a lot better. You know, if I was to try to burn from another point, sure, I'd be able to make it, and I probably have a lot of fuel left. But it's, you know, I always try to get there with the most amount of fuel that I can. So, oops, not paying attention to the screen there. SAISS on. The gimbling, I mean, these, you can see that there's very little gimbling. Like, there's not they don't have a very wide range, but it should be enough to hold, you know, between your SAISS and you know, the gimbling on your nuclear rockets. At least when you have 3 in this configuration. I don't know if 2 would be less stable. It seems like the triangle is always the best choice. But I guess it could be argued for landing gear. Personally, I prefer 4 points of contact with landing gear, but that's me. I think of it as well, I'm 4 times as likely to land upright then, I guess. So we're almost through our first minute burn. Of course, we'll let it go for an extra second or two just to make up for us missing out there. It's always very important to keep an eye on your resources. You know, maybe for some reason you got something on that's like sucking power. And depending on the situation you're in, if it's a probe or something and it runs out of power, well then it's dead, it's toast. Unless you have external solar panels or an RTG that is able to bring your stuff back to life, then you're screwed. So always keep an eye on your resources. Look at that, 2,000 units of monoprop. That's lots of monoprop. Propellant for days. You fly to Laythe on fucking monopropellant. That'd be an exercise in fucking patience, buddy. But I suppose there's lots of people who build RCS drones. Little tug ships that are able to move things around on space stations and stuff, and they're just RCS, just a couple of RCS tanks stacked together, in a well-balanced way with some docking ports and lights, and power. Well, I mean, RCS tanks, RCS control blocks. Batteries, solar panels, and RTGs, probe cores, docking ports. They always say docking ports. Well, if I did, more docking ports. And that's if you just wanted to go bare bones. I mean, there's always going the extra mile and sticking some structural panels and stuff on it to really pretty it up. Oops. So I'm just kind of trying to use the torque to realign myself. Because, I'm really cheap like that. I don't want to burn... I got RCS for days, but I don't even want to burn that much of it. So, now we look at our... So now you can see the change. Now we've gone from... what was it, 166 or 266? I hope it was 166 to 269, but there you have it. So I'll try and pay more attention to that on this next burn, but at the same time you can look at how much fuel that the fuel capacity of this thing is ridiculous. 15,780 and 18,920. And that's just on this one. The other one, what do I got happening here? Oh, I picked this. Pick the target. Here, I'll pick a target for you. Here you go. There's your target. Anyway, set our maneuver node. I guess the other thing we could look at, because we're at what, like 869 delta V to get an escape trajectory last time. So now we're about 800. And that's how that goes. And I mean, you just want to kind of edge it out bit by bit. Oop. So I'll actually keep it in map view this time while we go around. Keep an eye on the apoapsis, see how it adjusts. And like we're still the same, so like, oh, 73. Now this will definitely change. You know, as you're you know, doing your delta V change. Well, I guess it's kind of redundant. Delta V means change in velocity. Not that I'm a mathematician, but I believe that delta is the symbol for change in mathematics. So I tell you, this thing is going like a bat out of hell compared to the first one I flew out there. But of course, that was dragging a 60-ton fucking base lander rover all the way out to the edge of the solar system. This is just got to take a couple of measly vehicles. Although I bet you, if I compared it, the weight difference isn't that big, I should say. Now you could probably do this instead of burning at that thrust. You could actually dial it back to here, because the way I understand it is that your fuel consumption is directly impacts. So it's like, I guess, 1.74 units a second. So if I cut that back, there you go. It's using fucking 0.78 units a second there. Now, that's ultimately more efficient, because what it means is that I'm going to have to do more, you know, I'll have to spend more time on this point doing my change in velocity, and burning, you know, this prograde direction, trying to get out of the system kind of a thing. What this allows you to do, I guess, is you're more finely controlling exactly where you're spending your fuel. So, I mean, we're might, you know, get it right up to 400. The great thing is that the further out, doesn't that look neat? The way it scallops the different orbits I got set up. The reason why I stagger my orbits is not because I'm too lazy to circularize them. It's because things get damn difficult. You know, you see that everything is kind of at this point here, because I like doing my gravity turns early, so I'm nice and close to the planet for doing Bowman transfers or Hoffman transfers or old Earth effects. Okay. And this is going to be the you know, and this is going to be the theme of the night. You know, rinse, wash, repeat. Now, once you get out onto, you know, more cosmic scales, like once we're out looking at things at this view, right? And I got an orbit that's just, you know, well, there's that dotted line there. That'll be the orbit of the escape velocity I got set up there right now, which only needs to be, what do we have before, 7 something, right? So, I mean, you can literally set your transfer right from orbit if you want. Right? Now, that's pretty intense. A 2-hour fucking burn. I don't think my orbit around Kerbin is 2 hours. I'm curious, does that waypoint move as I drag it here? No. So, I mean, obviously, at this point, and I guess people or some people do their transfers, interplanetary transfers, right from Kerbin. And I mean, that's your thing, and you're good at that. More power to you. But for me, you know, I only really know one way to do this stuff. You know, or I'm only, it's not that I only know, because I'm only really comfortable with doing it one way. And it might not be the most efficient way. In fact, I can guarantee you it's not the most efficient way. So if you find a better way, or you think you find a better way, and you say, oh no, it can't be better because, you know, he did it this way. Yeah, well, it could very well, I'm just saying, it could very well be much more efficient than the way I'm doing shit. Jeez, I don't know if you can hear that. There's all kinds of banging and horns and shit going on outside. The mic is pretty good. It's directional. One thing I'm going to have to be careful of is video lengths, because I've been having trouble. I got like a backlog of videos, and because this stuff requires a ridiculous amount of space to compress, I ended up having, in order to actually, oops, no need to go all crazy with it. Now, I know this might seem a little painful doing it this way, because yeah, I could totally burn 100%. But I figure that, you know, for me, I just discovered what I felt were two easy methods of saving fuel, and that was, you know, when I was escaping the system, don't just use that node and, you know, that suggested burn time of fucking 12 minutes to start your burn back here in 6 minutes, and so you're burning all the way around this thing. Basically doing the periapse shuffle, because that way what you're doing is you're burning so that you're constantly pushing your periapsis in front of you and rotating the orbit. So your periapsis will be here, then it's over here, your apoapsis is there, then your periapsis is here. And as you might know, the intake air is 0 because, well, I'm around 4,000 meters above the atmosphere. So the atmosphere starts around 6,999. Of course, in real life, the atmosphere goes on up. It's only a few molecules, but it goes out quite a fucking ways. Something always looks very worried. I think Limbo's insane. Hey, they have been up here for a while. One thing I very much enjoy the simulation aspect, but one thing that I can't really be bothered with is like worrying about the mission lengths. You know, like the logistics of this game is difficult enough in my, for me anyway. You know, designing and flying and docking things together, and trying to build, multiple design a mission with multiple ships, multiple launches. At this point, for this ship and the fuel module for this jet here, which, if you remember, can refuel the jet 18 times. I've called my Horizon station. You're looking at this point to get this up here, and this, and this, and to refuel this thing. I mean, shit. That right there is 1, 2, 3, and I think it was 2 or 3 refuel missions to fill this thing up here. So, I mean, between 5 and 6 different rocket launches to get this to this point. Not to mention that all the extensive screwing around that you do. Now, my only regret with this, and I'm not going back, I'm not fucking scrapping this now, was that I had started this before the last update, and so instead of having the super awesome wheels that they've added, I got these fucking beach ball blowout extravaganza fucking things. That's fine. We will separify, adapt, and overcome on that little particular problem. In fact, I'm already planning ahead and thinking, you know what? I can probably build a better jet now that I've screwed around with one, you know, forever, trying to, you know, because I'm no good with aircraft, apparently. Now, whether it's because the aerodynamics modeling in this game fucking blows, or because I'm a crappy pilot, I don't know. Because I don't know enough about aerodynamics modeling to say, hey, that's not aerodynamically sound. I suppose the developers have a double-edged sword with having such an intelligent game player base, you know. You got astrophysicists and fucking engineers playing your game, calling you on your shit, and you're like, come on, man, they're little green dudes. Give me a break. Alright. Let's fast forward this shit. I have no idea how long I've had this video running. What'll end up happening is that I'll shut this off and then go to export it, and it'll be, you know, an hour long, and with all the other videos there won't be enough space on my terabyte drive to do it, because apparently it has to take whatever it is. It needs, is it 600%? 665.5% the space more than what you have. So if it's an 80 gig file, it's, you know, it's 80 gigs plus 665.5% of 80 gigs. I hope that quick acceleration didn't tear this thing apart. No, everything looks A-okay. Because that's something that can happen, especially when you're looking at a lot of docking ports and stuff. But, you know, like, I don't know, people get on with a lot of shit about, oh, the docking ports wobble, the docking ports wobble. Well, you know, I guess it's like, I guess it's the same people whose rockets bend like wet spaghetti on the way up into space. You know, I mean, if it's fucking balanced, and you don't have rockets all over all these different parts of the thing fucking firing left, right, and center, then it probably won't bend all crazy on you, you know. But hey, maybe that's the point for these people, is that they want to have rockets at every corner. And like, no, I want to build a Rube Goldberg machine. You have to make that work in my game. I mean, that's swaying a little bit, and that's mostly because there's an SAISS module on this, and an SAISS module right here. Plus the avionics package. And, I mean, you get a little bit of wobble, but that's not really, I don't think it's really worth writing angry letters to squat over. So you notice on the edge of these, I got the Stay Putnik fucking probe cores, and that's because when this thing gets into atmosphere, I might just, because this actually wasn't designed to enter on its own. It had its own delivery vehicle, and I never actually designed this to be a delivery vehicle, like an in-atmosphere delivery vehicle. I mean, originally I was just going to keep it in orbit, and the thing that this docked with, if the crew is going with it, they can stay with it, just blow this decoupler. Geez, I made me nervous clicking on that. But, blow this decoupler, and then the three-man crew can go down with whatever is, and I mean, this thing has its own parachutes that can land just fine on its own. So if you don't want to screw around with that, then, but I'm gonna see if it'll land with this pod on its back, the parachutes. I mean, that would be, I think that'd be pretty cool. Carrying around this command module way up on its back. The only thing is, I don't think the ladders on it will reach down. But it kind of gives me an idea for, an air or a land vehicle with just a monstrous kind of a tower on the top of it. Oh, where the fuck is my lighter now? There you are. Where's my smokes? Attention there. I'm off my marker a little bit. All in all, not a bad looking setup for something that wasn't purely designed for this mission. I'm quite pleased that I was able to cobble this all together. Because initially it was just supposed to be two of these big interplanetary stages docked at the end, with one of these on the front. Then the fuel station was supposed to go in here. And I don't know why it didn't fit, because I'm sure I fucking tried it in the VAB first. To see if the clearance worked, or I parked it on the landing pad and fucking, I think is what it was. I launched it and then dropped it down with parachutes, a modified version, and I fucking drove that thing into here. Or some fucking thing like that. I was sure I tested the clearances. So when I got that thing up here and it didn't fit, not only was it ridiculously embarrassing, but I really didn't understand it, because I was fucking sure that I had checked the clearances and all that stuff. But obviously I've been at this mission for quite a while now, and space insanity is starting to kick in, whatever they call it. Pandorum. From that movie, Pandorum. Oh, you got me talking so much, my smoke went out. Alright. So, with that, I'm actually going to cut this video here and start it up again, because I don't want any one of these files to be too huge enormous. So, yeah, I'll catch you back either right away here or after a couple of more orbits, because I think you got the idea of what I'm doing here.